What's going on, everyone? Tim Williams here. We're going to break down this 10-game MLB slate on DraftKings for Sunday, August 8th. If you're new to the channel, welcome. What's going on? My name's Tim. We're going to talk baseball. We're going to break down each and every one of these games. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Good to see you here. We're going to talk pitching, hitting, all that good stuff. I really think these slides are going to help you improve your DFS game and decisions on where you want to go today here. So I know they certainly helped me. They've helped out some people here. Before I get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out immensely. I don't want you to miss out on any future free breakdown content here. So first game we have to talk about is the Mets taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. 8 over under here. Phillies favorited at home. You got Walker taking on Wheeler. Walker 9.1K. Not a ton of interest in him in general, especially at that price. 22% strikeout rate, 10.5% walk rate, walking a lot of guys, giving up power to right-handed batters, 172 ISO there. He's just been pitching poorly after the All-Star break. I think he's been pitching through some injuries. Last 5 starts, DraftKings points wise. 6, 10, -7, -14, and 6 DraftKings points. Just not a good spot for him. Philly's a decent offense, so I'm out on Walker. Wheeler on the other side, 10.4K. Clear ace on the slate, right? He's been kind of coming back down to earth the last few starts, but he's just been elite this year. One of the best pitchers in baseball, in my opinion. 29.5% strikeout rate here, 50% ground ball rate. Just not a guy I'm going to attack. So I'm kind of out on the Mets. There's a lot of other spots to go here on this slate. Phillies, I have some interest here, especially if Walker's pitching poorly and if they let him pitch, 5 or 6 innings. Walker, Real Muto, I think are the top 2 options. Brad Miller has some upside power. Herrera probably leading off. Once in a while, he has a big game. Didi Gregorius at 3.9. So I'm interested in the Phillies, maybe just as like a 3-man stack or a couple of one-offs. Next, we have the Rays taking on the Orioles, 10.5 over under. The Rays are favorited here. Waka taking on Lopez. We'll start with Waka, 7.8K. I think the price is reasonable. He's kind of just been sitting in that 7 to 8K range. 22% strikeout rate, which isn't great because he's kind of priced a little high at the upper 7K. 271 ISO 2 right-handed batters. However, the Orioles are 28th in OPS in versus right-handed pitching this season. They've done a pretty bad job against righties. And even if you go back like the last 15, 30 days, it's not much better. So Waka kind of in an interesting spot. Once in a while, he'll go out and get you about 20, 25 DraftKings points. He could do it today. This is a perfect, setup for him. So I have a little interest in Waka. And then on the other side, Lopez, 5.2K, 20% strikeout rate here, 10.6% walk rate. So walking a lot of guys, 50% ground ball rate. We saw him, there's starts where he can just mow down the Yankees, not mow them down, but he throws 95 to 97 miles per hour. He's not a bad pitcher by any means. He just gives up a lot of contact. 170 ISO power to left-handed batters. So I am interested in some of these Rays bats. Lau at 5.6K, Cruz for 5.2, Meadows, Wendell at 4.3. I think they're kind of interesting. They're not cheap by any means, but I think the matchup is decent in Baltimore. And then on the other side, I'm interested in some of the righties for the Orioles, but they just don't match up well against right-handed pitching. So I kind of favor Waka. Don't mind Mullins in this spot at 4.5K. Next, we have the Mariners taking on the Yankees, 9 over under here. Yankees favorited at home. Kikuchi taking on Gill. Kikuchi 8.6K. I think he's an overall solid pitcher. 26.6% K rate, which is great. 8% walk rate, 48% ground ball rate. The one blip for him is he gives up a lot of power to right-handed batters. It's a 339 ISO, I should say, not OPS. 339 ISO to right-handed batters, which is kind of a red flag. Gill on the other side, 6.5K. If you play DFS daily, you know that he made his debut. His first start last week went extremely well. He was 4K. Now he's bumped up to 6.5K. Seattle 26th in OPS over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. And I don't think it's any better if you go the span of the whole season. So I'm only interested in the Mariners as a leverage play because I think Gill will be highly owned, maybe 20 to 30% owned. So Seager, Haniger, Fraley, Kelnick, Fraley again, I guess. But Kelnick at 2.2K, kind of interesting because he probably will be leading off. But in general, I'm probably out on the Mariners, right? There's other stacks I really want to get to. And on the Yankee side, I'm really interested in Stanton at 4.2K because Kikuchi does give up a decent amount of home runs. He'll at least give up maybe one, maybe two per start. So Stanton at 4.2K is a really cheap value play. Next, we have the Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays, 9.5 over under. Blue Jays are favorited at home. Richards taking on Ryu. Richards, 6.7K. Not a very good pitcher in a bad spot here against the Blue Jays. 18% strikeout rate, 10% walk rate. Does get a lot of ground balls, but he does give up a lot of contact. A 206 ISO to right-handed batter. So righties, can take him deep. And the Blue Jays have the right-handed bats to do that. Vlad at 6.2, Bichette, Springer, Hernandez, Semien, you know the drill. I think they're always in play. I think they're in a really good spot here at home. And then Ryu at 9.4K, 21% strikeout rate here. Better real life pitcher than in fantasy, but he occasionally will have those big games fantasy wise. Excellent control. Just not a guy I'm going to attack here. I have a little interest in Ryu. It's kind of pricey, so I doubt I get there, but he's definitely in play. Next, we have the Pirates taking on the Reds, 9.5 over under here. Reds favorited. Wilson taking on Molly. Wilson 6.3K. Just hasn't been a great pitcher this season. 13% strikeout rate here, 10% walk rate. Gives up a lot of power to left-handed bats, 232 ISO. In Cincinnati, that's not a good look, right? Molly on the other side, 9.8K. 26% strikeout rate here, just under 9% walk rate. We know he can shut lefties down. He does a really good job at doing that. 265 ISO, two right-handed batters. Pirates are kind of mostly lefty now after the trade deadline. Brian Reynolds is a switch hitter. I am interested in him as a kind of a one-off. But lefties against Molly, he's only given up a 0.091 ISO to lefties. It's the Pirates. I really actually like Molly a lot in the spot. And then Reds bats. I think they're the clear number one stack on today's slate. Winker, Votto, Naquin, India, Castellanos. I believe the Moose Man is sitting today. So I am very high on the Reds today, especially those left-handed batters. Next, we have the Tigers taking on the Indians, 9.5 over under here. Peralta taking on Plesac. Peralta 5.5K, just not a ton of upside there. Gives up a decent amount of power to right-handed batters, 182 ISO there. Plesac on the other side, kind of similar numbers to Peralta in a sense. Plesac just not striking guys out, 15% strikeout rate here. Does get a decent amount of ground balls, about 50% of the time, which is nice to see. The price is just a little bit too high. 224 ISO power to two right-handed batters. So that kind of makes me interested in Eric Haas at 4.1K just for like a home run hunting purpose. But Tigers haven't really been hitting righties very well. And because of that, I would be interested in Plesac a little bit, but the price is just a little bit too high. Maybe if he was 7.4K, I would be interested, but I think I'm out on Plesac. Maybe he makes the player pool, but maybe not my lineups. So next one we have is the Nationals taking on the Braves, 8.5 over under. You have Corbin taking on Fried. The Braves are favorited in this one. Corbin 7K. I've taken some shots on him in the past. I don't think I'm going to get there. 17% strikeout rate, 45% ground ball rate, a lot of contact to right-handed batters, 252 ISO, two right-handed batters. So I'm very interested in the righties for the Braves. Fried on the other side, 8.8K. The price is a little high, right? 24% strikeout rate, which isn't bad. 47% ground ball rate. I just don't want to attack him. So I think I'm out on the Nationals. Braves very much in play here. Been kind of struggling a little bit, but Soler, my favorite bat, especially for a one-off at 3.4K. It's not going to kill you. Always 4.9, which is like reasonable, but like he just hasn't been hitting the ball very well, but very much in play here. Swanson, Duvall, a lot of power there. Adrianza, 2.1K, I think is interesting. He'll probably be leading off today. So more interest on the Braves side for sure. Next, we have the Giants taking on the Brewers, 9 over under here. Brewers favorited. Cueto taking on Anderson, a couple of veteran pitchers here. Cueto at 7.5K, not a terrible price tag, but like on a 10-game slate, I don't think you just have to go there. 21% strikeout rate, 211 ISO, and a lot of contact to left-handed batters. So lefties, I think, are in play for the Brewers. Anderson at 8K, 12% strikeout rate. So I'm totally out on him as a pitcher. 58% ground ball rate. He's actually been pitching fairly well. He could probably go 5 or 6 innings because of how he's been pitching lately, and he's getting a lot of ground balls and he's getting a lot of contact. I'm just kind of out on the Giants. I think Bryant's interesting, but I don't know if I'm going to spend 5.4K to get him. There's other stacks I'd rather just get to spend that money. And then on the other side with the Brewers, Yelich is back at 4.8K, but I think I'm going to be personally off of him. I just think he's interesting right now in this matchup. Escobar at 5.3, it's pricey, but he has the power. Tellez 3.1K, and Narvaez, I don't mind here. So some of those lefty bats against Cueto. Next, we have the Twins and the Astros, 8.5 over under. Astros are favorited in this one. Maeda taking on McCullers. Maeda 7.2K, 25% strikeout rate here, 206 ISO to left-handed batters. He's just been kind of average this year. Not a great spot against the Astros. McCullers on the other side, 10K, near 30% strikeout rate. He has a ton of upside, does walk a lot of guys 11% of the time, 54% ground ball rate, really does a good job limiting the fly balls at 30%. I think the Twins actually match up here pretty decently. I just really favor McCullers in the matchup. He doesn't really give up a ton of home runs. So I'm off the Twins. I'm definitely in on some of these Astros bats against Maeda. I don't know if I'm going to full stack it, but maybe try to capitalize on some of that left-handed power. So Alvarez at 4.6, Tucker 3.9, Brantley 3.2. I think you could easily get those bats and mix them in with like some of the Toronto bats or some of the Cincy bats for sure. Next, we have the Royals and the Cardinals, 9.5 over under here. Cardinals favorited at home. And I believe this is the last game here. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I really, really appreciate it. Seriously. Bubic taking on Leicester. Bubic's 5.7K, 20% strikeout rate. So nice K rate for a guy this cheap. However, he is walking a ton of guys, 11.4% walk rate, 47.8% ground ball rate, 357 ISO to left-handed batters. Fortunately for him, the Cardinals are mostly right-handed, but he also gives up a 204 ISO to right-handed batters as well. So, Cardinals very interesting. Leicester on the other side, 6.1K, 14% strikeout rate here, 9% walk rate, 41.4% ground ball rate. He just hasn't been very good this season. He has been good against left-handed batters. I will give him credit for that. 234 ISO, 2 right-handed batters. So I think Salvador Perez is going to be very popular catching option today at 5K. If he is 19% owned, like I see currently, I'm going to be off of him, but he's a very strong play for sure. Dozier, Olivares, 2.1K. I think there's some cheap power there, power upside. Then the Cardinals is where I'm going to focus my attention to. Goldschmidt, Arenado, O'Neill, Edman, Carlson, Bader. Literally this whole lineup I think is in play against a pitcher like Bubic, who just has a ton of gives up a ton of walks and a lot of power here. So really favorite the Cardinals in this one. And that is it. That'll do it. My name's Tim Williams. I wish you the best of luck in your contest today. Take it easy. Peace.